Hi, I'm Marc Stern. I'm the General Counsel and Director of Legal Advocacy here at the American Jewish Committee. And while I'm taping this in my office in New York, it's not so long ago that I was in Seattle speaking about lawfare at the behest of the AJC chapter in Seattle, the ADL, Cardozo Society, and Stand With Us. Now, I'm glad in some form to be back again in the lovely city of Seattle. The film you're about to see about Judge Aaron Barak captures many of the points about this very influential and very controversial judge. Not long ago, I was on a law professor's blog about constitutional theory, and the discussion was about a book about whether there is such a thing as global constitutional theory. And the consensus was that nobody has enunciated one except for Judge Aaron Barak. That shows you the rather unique stature that a judge from a small country enjoys around the world in the circles of those who debate what the role of the courts is in keeping democracies on the straight and narrow path. And as you'll see in the film, it's very well done and very balanced. Judge Barak really engaged the Supreme Court of Israel, in many of the leading social, political, military disputes of his age. He does so, as you'll see in the personal vignettes that are shown in the video, from a deep commitment to the idea of a Jewish state, and yet an equally deep commitment to the rule of law. Now, you'll see there are people who speak on the film from both perspectives. But what I think is worth bearing in mind as you watch the film is how even good results in a particular case arguably can have negative systemic effects. It's important to remember, and it's discussed briefly in the video, how important Justice Barak's opinion in the Wall case is, coming only days before the opinion of the International Court of Justice. If you read the two opinions side by side, Justice Barak's opinion far exceeds in quality of craftsmanship anything the ICJ put together. And yet, in Israel, he was widely criticized for that opinion, for intruding on military matters that should be left to generals, not judges. So there's no real winning. I have fond memories of a trip to Israel where I was privileged to meet Justice Barak and Justice Antonin Scalia of the American Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court was in Israel at the time, and the two of them debated. It was a fascinating clash of judicial philosophies. Justice Barak saying it's the court's job to make sure that the law is enforced, and Justice Scalia saying judges are not politicians, they don't have ultimate responsibility, the courts ought to have a very narrow view. One last thing I call to your attention about today's the movie that you're about to see, which I had not known, it's not well known, at least in larger circles, the very touching story about how Justice Barak was hidden in the war, his questioning of his father's decision about whether to send him to Israel or keep him in, as then Palestine as it then was, or keep him in Lithuania, the gratitude Justice Barak felt to the people who saved him, very touching video of that, and importantly, because his critics don't often give him this, the evident and obvious deep feeling of the necessity of a Jewish state as a place for Jews to have, amongst other reasons, as a place of refuge in times of persecution. So I hope you enjoy tonight's film. It's a good one. It's a balanced one. I'm sure you'll be challenged by it. And I look forward to seeing you again at GLOFO, at the Global Forum that AJC will be convening in May 2nd through 5th. Thanks very much.